We announced our lineup to bring you the best of Euro 2024. Among them, Ashley Young, Manu Petit was there, David Moyes, Graham Souness, and our next guest, of course, a regular fixture this season with Majestic.
Yeah.
After all the big games on a Sunday, Alan Pardew, the former West Ham and Palace manager. Good afternoon, Alan.
Hello, Alan.
Afternoon, Paul and Charlie. How are you?
Yeah, we're not
are you sounding good?
We're not too bad.
We are very well, thank you.
I mean, it's... We're all very, very hopeful of a good... I mean, we'd like Scotland and England to do well. There'll be a bit of pressure on England, having come so close last time. I mean, a lot of optimism in those. But even Manu Petit's talking us up. So how are you feeling going into the Euros? Confident?
Yeah, I'm confident. I mean, I think as most of the sort of learned friends would acknowledge, the back four is a slight concern. But I don't think anywhere else is a concern. We definitely got the firepower to outgun teams. We've got great experience. And when you go to some sort of distance in tournaments, that gives you an experience, which this group has, of course. And with Harry Kane, Bellingham, winning probably player of the season in their respective new countries, and Foden in this country, we got a real assets. Perhaps the best group since that golden generation that didn't deliver for us.
We've got a lot of great players. It's fitting them all in, and everybody's got their theories on how we do that. Certainly in sort of midfield, the number 10 position. I mean, have you thought about if it was you? Have you sat there back of a fag packet, or whatever the equivalent is these days, and worked out how you would get the best out of Foden, get the best out of Bellingham, get the best out of Rice, etc.?
Yeah, I mean, me and Madge went through it a couple of Sundays ago, and I actually think Bellingham should be our number 8, which frees up the number 10 for Foden for me. I would have loved to have seen Maddison back to that early season form, but that's just drifted away from him in this since he's had that injury, because I think he would have been the delight in that role, opening up sort of windows and ideas, which I think is very, very important at that top level. You've got Germany at home, you've got France, who are obviously very strong, Spain. So, there's some tricky teams that can easily outgun us and beat us. So we're going to need to be at our very, very best. I think the lad at Palace, it's nice to see him back fit. Guillo, I think, will be an excellent choice, because it means we could force the game a little bit, and we'll have that pace at the back. He's so quick, he could get us out of trouble. So I'm glad he's back and fit. Whether he's done enough to convince Gareth, I don't know.
And the left side of the front three, there's been a bit of conjecture about that. It's been Marcus Rashford's position most of the time, but Anthony Gordon's stepping up and has been playing very well. It's whether, Gareth has been very loyal to players, whether he sticks to that or goes on form. Yeah,
and also the boy at Chelsea, Parr, been unbelievable. And Bowen, both those you would think could get a great chance of taking that position, even if it's on their natural side. It might give us a little bit of balance to have Saka on the left, coming on his inside mainly, and an actual natural left footer down the left might help us. But I think we all know that Gareth's sort of sitting in this position with great players, expectations very high. Probably, if he doesn't win it, will be his last tournament for England, and obviously he's a friend of mine, so I'm fingers crossed and going into the tournament, and I look forward to it. It's an honour to be there with talkSPORT, so I'm really looking forward to it, and obviously going to stay super positive for England.
Yeah, criticism often thrown at Gareth for England is that he's a little bit too negative, a little bit too interested in holding, isn't he? Rather than, and we've got all these some world class players, attacking players. Will he have to change his style, do you think, Alan?
Well, knowing Gareth, no, he won't change his style. He'll be slightly conservative. That's the best way to say it. He doesn't manage in the same manner that I did. I was a little bit more gung-ho than Gareth, and you have different types and different flavours. I would say though that it was a very similar criticism of David Moyes at West Ham last year when he brought home a European trophy. So sometimes being conservative, particularly in these big tournaments, okay, there might be a friendly at Wembley where you want Gareth to sort of throw everything at it and let's have a real go and send the crowd home joyous. But when you're trying to win a tournament, the best thing to get is a clean sheet. Give yourself a chance of winning the game. And I think that is natural for Gareth to think like that, to make sure he's locked it all up at home, and that he can wait for one of his flair players to go and deliver the goods for him.
Telegraph's Matt Law written an interesting piece that I'll give you the first paragraph, Alan. It says, rewind to 2016 when Gareth Southgate took charge of what was a broken institution amid a toxic environment, and you will find one of the reasons Manchester United will consider the England manager as a successor to Eric Ten Hag if they decide to sack the Dutchman. And I can see the sense in that. It does feel a bit root and branch what's going on at Manchester United, and a different approach could be needed. He does know Dan Ashworth, having worked with him. So what do you make of that possibility? I mean, Gareth's decision would be to have a good Euros, stay on and want to win a World Cup for 2 more years, or to think, look, it's never going to get any better than this, and decide to dip out if a good opportunity comes up.
Well, I think after the last World Cup, he had similar questions and decided to stay on. And obviously, he's now found himself perhaps with an even better side than that team that was in the last big tournament. So, holding on when you've got Foden so young, Bellingham is so young, Harry Kane's still going to be around for another 4 or 5 years. I'm sure he'd want to stay on. But whether the flavour for Gareth is going to be there if we don't win it. So that's one issue. The Man United aspect is a definite probability, because Dan Ashworth obviously has been headhunted from Newcastle. He's very much got his finger on the pulse of world football. He would have 3 or 4 names for Jim Ratcliffe, and being an Englishman with a majority share of that club and wanting to take it forward, I would expect in a very, very professional way, knowing Ineos. So I'm guessing that Gareth would definitely be in the frame for that.
Well, we look forward to hearing you during the Euros, but
stuff.
We'll hear you on Sunday, because you're back with Madge for the final word, 6:30. And that's straight after the Manchester United-Arsenal game on Sunday, so that should be lively.
Yeah, that will be interesting, won't it? Man United, oh dear, at the moment. They're awful, aren't they? But no, we love Sunday night, and me and Madge mix it all up. So, we enjoy the show.
Nice one. Cheers, Al. All the best. Thanks very much.
Cheers, guys. Nice speaking to you.
Alan Pardew there, part of our top team, bringing you Euro 2024. Ashley Young has joined the team. Manu Petit, you heard from earlier on, of course, and Graham Souness will be part of our team with a Scottish flavour.
It's all Scottish, isn't it? It's all Scott Alley. You've got Alan. You've got
Shaban's going to be in the camp.
David Moyes. All there. Graham Souness.
David Moyes, that's right.
It's unbelievable.
It's good. It's good to have representation.
Muck talk sport, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, that's one way of doing it, yeah. Muck, just put muck at the beginning.
Why not?
Why not? It's just like they did in the Beano all those years ago.
Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs, Monday to Friday afternoons, 1 till 4. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.